We're still celebrating Nigeria at 65, and we have another guest joining us right now on the program. It will be looking at Nigeria at 65 in general and some of the economic reforms of the Tinubu administration so far. Remember, we had a guest before now who said that we got it wrong in terms of leadership, and that's why we are where we are today in terms of growth, as well as policies that are driving the country. But we have another person joining us right now, Prince Dapo Adilegun, former president, Nigeria British Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much as always.
And congratulations once again, Nigeria is 65.
Indeed.
Okay, earlier in my intro, I did say that it's been a combination of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Although it's not all gloomy so far when you look at some sectors of the country. And Mr. President earlier today spoke with us, giving us the assurance that the worst is over. At 65, how do you feel as a Nigerian?
Well, I am very proud that I'm a Nigerian, and I think we must congratulate ourselves that we still have a nation. Many countries have evolved and dissolved within the first 10, 20 years of their existence. And I think Nigerians must congratulate themselves and also thank God that in spite of all the challenges we've gone through in 65 years, the future is brighter than before. Coming to the speech of Ashwaju this morning, I'm also very excited about the fact that for the first time, we have a data-proven economic growth. In the second quarter of 2025, the GDP of the country grew by 47%. That's very important. You can imagine 3 years ago when it came in, we were in dire straits, considering many years of economic mismanagement and the bold reforms he undertook on that inception. All of us felt were a bit too early, too strong. But we're now beginning to realize that those were bitter pills that were necessary for the future of the country. So as far as I'm concerned, Nigeria's rebirth has begun. The GDP growth itself cannot be said to be transformational, but it is the beginning of that transformation. So I think we've done well so far.
Yeah. Okay, so many people will say, look, especially for those of you in your class like, who are seeing it from the 60s to the 70s, and you say, look, and there's this cliche of saying, it wasn't like this, we had it way better than what we're having now. I personally, in the 80s baby, we also say, I remember when we used to have electricity 24/7 in Niger State, Mina to be precise, and water as well. In fact, we announced to you that there will be power outage between 1 and 3 on Thursday, and that was on a Monday. Then the announcement will go on radio stations. Some people will say, look, it has the perception, especially those in our world, in our generation, will say, look, it has always been this bad. Perhaps, can you tell me
why is that so?
Why is that so? Or better still, I just want a good feeling this morning because I can't just continue with this bad energy. What was those fantastic moments? Perhaps to know that at 65, it hasn't all been this bad also.
I think what your generation must understand is the fact that no country can abridge its political and economic evolutionary process. Every society goes through processes. When the countries will mirror, the United Kingdom, America, China, were in their 60th year, they were mostly barbarians. They were killing each other. I mean, we have gone very far as a nation. But for example, I was born in 62, 3 years before, 2 years after Nigeria got independence. I grew up in Lagos, Queen Street in Yaba. I went to Ladilak in Akimi. Lagos was a cosmopolitan city. You took a bus to primary school in Surulere, 88, and there were conductors that give you a ticket. Parents didn't have to go with us to school. There was security. I mean, if you didn't have pipe-borne water in your houses, there's a street tap, and everybody goes there to fetch water. If NEPA takes light in 2 minutes, we all shout NEPA, and in 1 second, they bring it back. Now, so what happened? Military happened. The intervention of the military in the affairs of this nation set us back by almost 3-4 decades. They were revolutionary in their thoughts, but they did not have the wherewithal to develop an organic nation. In the 60s, in Western Nigeria, if you look at the back of a background, the factories, there was a rail line all the way from Apapa that brought raw materials to the factories and took finished goods to the other parts of the country. Our UCH was the reference hospital for the Saudi royal family. We had television before France in 1952.
Yes.
History is something your generation must really learn. There has been a nation before. There was a country. And if Nigeria had been allowed to move at that pace, today, we would not be where we are today. But there was an interregnum. And that is history, whether for good or for bad. Now, going forward, we're having a reset. As now, the presidents before President Bola Tinubu were military guys. General Buhari. So we still had another 16 years of neo-military government.
Minus Jonathan.
That's fine.
And
the significant 16 years of a post-military political evolution were by military leaders. So we are literally reimagining the future of the country. And for your generation, learn that other societies at 60 were infants. Nigeria is already a giant that is rising at 65.
Okay, I'm going to take you to a particular paragraph of the broadcast of Mr. President earlier, paragraph 7 now, where Mr. President did say that upon assuming office, our administration inherited a near-collapsed economy caused by decades of fiscal policy distortions and misalignment that had impaired real growth. As a new administration, we faced a simple choice: continue business as usual and watch our nation drift, or embark on a courageous, fundamental reform path. We chose the path of reform. We chose the path of tomorrow over the comfort of today. Less than 3 years later, the seeds of those difficult but necessary decisions are bearing fruits. I do agree when you look at some of the statistics that Mr. President quoted earlier today. You also quoted that figure of the GDP getting better than what it used to be. But at the subnational level, we can at least see the signs that our governors are getting more money, our local government are getting more money, and the people are not really feeling the impact of this figure. So where are we really missing things up?
Okay, I think the misalignment is the absence of a compassionate government. You see, look at Lagos State, for example. Look at Ogun State. Look at Kano State. There are subnationals that are performing excellently in terms of providing infrastructure, making sure education, health, investment in the right places. But all of this looks as if it is not happening. It's because we do not have a compassionate social welfare system. I've said it. No matter what we do, no matter the money we spend, until we provide universal health services, mass housing, comfortable, affordable mass transportation, student loan, which the president has just initiated, until we agree that we need to preemptively provide this basic for the masses of the people. That is where we can get their commitment. One, to join hands with government to make things happen, to also help in communicating the values of the country. Today, majority of our people are totally disconnected. They are not impressed at all. Even every positive exertion of government, they think you are stealing the money. Everybody is a rogue, is a thief. No matter how well-intentioned a governor is a thief, as far as people are concerned. And why not? So they see wealth, opulence, life of those in government. And they can find that they don't even know what to have to feed tomorrow. So I think there's a need for an elite consensus to say, look, what kind of society do we want to? Because the elite has lost our moral ground. Even the president, more critics than those who even listen to him. Simply because the average Nigerian, there is no Marshall Plan. Why do in England and America look as if they're wonderful countries? There's corruption. There's misalignment. But the people are being sorted. Somebody used the word, which is not even very good. He said they've been contained.
With the basic.
Preemptively. With 20% of the GDP. They have transport. There's a bus at every bus stop in the United Kingdom. every day, every 5 minutes except on Christmas Day. That's not rocket science. That's elite consensus. Once you are 18, you are given the key to a studio flat. And you can pay over 30 years. Even after 20 years, you can collect what you have paid and they'll remortgage it. That's elite consensus. There's NHS. Not perfect, but every British citizen has right to press 199 and an ambulance will come and up to surgery free of charge. That's elite consensus. How? I told you. So, if you can use 20% of our GDP to primarily provide for our masses, they will be grateful, they will support, they will pray for us. They will not see every government official as a rogue. Today, as far as they are concerned, even when you read the budget, as far as they think you're just read budget to steal, because they can feel the impact. So, I propose that there must be a deliberate effort. Mr. President has done National Education Loan Fund, a game changer in bringing inclusion for every Nigerian child. But do we have a national health policy for every Nigerian? Do we have, I live in the Lekki corridor. I go through about 15, 16 bus stops from where I live to Lekki Phase 1. There are no shelters for people in the rain, in the sun. The vehicles that apply those routes will not be allowed to carry a dog in England. What exactly are we doing? Is it rocket science? And if we don't know, why don't we bring them to come and show us how to do it? We have the money. So until there is a deliberate policy to sort social welfare, the efforts of Mr. President will be bad-mouthed. The people's perception will be, we're not impressed.
Well, you quoted 25,000 naira as a social...
That's just a tip of the iceberg. I'm talking of a major social welfare intention. He's talked about the generation that's totally disconnected. They don't believe in Nigeria. They don't believe in our leadership. They think we're all liars. Even good intentions are not supported because they've waited for too long for the basics.
Okay. I'm trying to marry what the president is doing, considering he seems to have an understanding of where he's going. And for a longest time, I understand you understand the economy well. You've been a former member of the NBCC, and you have a situation where, for the first time, we have stability in the with monetary policy, and trying to marry it is what we're trying to figure out with the fiscal side of things. My question is, where do we get some kind of stability, this 65 years of existence as a nation, that will have the buy-in of not only the center, the president and his ministers, but a significant number of states that buy into this and want to work together in a particular direction? Because I've listened to Mr. President for the often time, he will talk about, look, we need to help our people. We need to help our people. Please, every time you go back to your state, please take care of the people. And this is the direction we're moving in. And I want the unity of this country. I'm not talking, it has nothing to do with tribe. We are in the same house, but in different rooms. He will always make allusions to this. And there's a reason why he's echoing this over and over again. That means we seem to be working in cross purposes. How do we get, what will be the nexus that will bind all of us together so that we can move together? Because we have some states like Lagos, Port Harcourt, Kano, Kaduna. Abuja is just waking up now after so many years. Maybe because someone just said that let me focus on infrastructure. And people are still complaining that what about health and human capital? People will complain. That is understandable. But how can we have a significant number of states in the federation that won't be teetering on insecurity and all other economic issues, but we'll move in the same direction?
I've said it, and it's for the benefit of repeating it. I've been to almost all the states in the country, even in the north, and there's significant improvement in infrastructure and health. Even the military that we're talking about, they built enduring infrastructures. It is not about infrastructure. Bill Gates came a couple of years and told our president, you can build all the bridges, but if the human capital
is not there,
is not giving good nutrition at birth, giving education, giving life security, their parents cannot guarantee their pension, you are wasting your time. Who are the people that would maintain the infrastructure? If they don't have the correct sense, they will destroy it. So we must come back again to the fundament. Mr. President is a patriot. He speaks with his soul. You can see what he's trying to do. He doesn't need the stress. It's true. He doesn't need the stress. And we knew what he did in Lagos. Recently, I was in a building in Victoria Island, 15-story floor with a view of the entire Victoria Island Ikoyi. What we saw was Lower Manhattan, like New York. That's significant. But how does that translate to mass transportation? How does that make it comfortable for me to? I told you, in England, and it's not rocket science, it can be done tomorrow. There's a bus at every bus stop, every 5 minutes, every day, in every town and village, except on Christmas Day. What is the big deal about that? The government doesn't even have to do it. Concession Lagos in the 12.3 said, and give private sector and give them the rules. Air-conditioned, comfortable buses. It's no big deal. In mass, so the point I'm making is that there are significant achievements in all the state capitals. The governors are doing well. I have a couple of governor friends. And you can see strides. But except the human condition, except compassion, becomes the base of all policy formulation and exertion. We are wasting our time. The people you say you are leading don't believe in you anymore. They've lost confidence in you. Every good intention is seen from the prism of corruption.
I think, how do they balance the fact that you elected president or a governor or a chairman, and there's no road, there's no infrastructure, but you say, look, let me work on people going to better schools, and they say, we don't have enough resources here.
Listen to my brother. Yeah. If you've been to England before, there's a road that comes from Heathrow Airport into the city of London.
Yes, I've been through that.
That road has not been reconstructed in 50 years. It's still the same road.
Quality.
When they want to repair, they repair at night. So I'm just saying that where there are 2 lane roads, they don't need to become 4. It's not priority of governance, as long as it's motorable. What is most important is the human condition. So if I will speak and advise the president, I'll say, Mr. President, you've done well. However, shift attention. Infrastructure, yes, but more attention into human development. Have a national health insurance for people. You have done NELFON. Fantastic. Create transportation. Compel the federal government, state government, and policy of buses across the length of every state. Easily for people. Housing. Mass housing. Now, we don't have to build cement houses. Apologies to my brother Aliko Dangote. We have 2 people that can afford it. But for mass housing, we can use wood. We can use clay. If you travel extended America, as I've done, because once I get to New York, I put my bag in a place and I take a train, start going around different friends. What you see is wooden houses. 80% of houses in America. Why we have more wood? Why can't we start using processed food to build? So if you build a bungalow with wood, it will be 1/3 or a quarter of the cost of building a cement.
Yes.
All right.
So, my brother, let me just finish this. Very, very important. So let us focus on human capital development. Let compassion be the focus of Mr. President for the next 4 years. Infrastructure can go side by side. But if he does not change and lay the foundation for an inclusive, compassionate government, where our people have health services, have transportation, education is being done, have mass housing, it's like taking a step forward and 2 steps back.
Earlier you mentioned time, and of course Mr. President also quoted a particular section now saying that we are racing against time. We must build the roads we need, repair the ones that have become the script, and construct schools for our children to attend and hospitals that will care for our people. Beyond all of these basic amenities of life, food is also important. Food is also important. And in those days, agriculture used to be the backbone of the economy, and all of a sudden, when we discovered oil, we relegated agriculture, which is why we are having food insecurity in Nigeria today. In terms of agricultural policy, do you think this government is going in the right direction?
Well, the statistics shows that the largest contributor to the GDP growth was actually non-oil export, 99%. So, and we're making a lot of money now from export. But the primary responsibility of government is to feed the people. Export income is important, but feeding them. And I've said this before, and I will repeat it again, that the youth of this country can be mobilized for an agricultural revolution in the country. It is deliberate. And that's why I say one of them says that to reinvent Nigeria must be very deliberate and must have structures. It's not just wishful thinking. Now, imagine that every state develops agricultural estates, like you used to have in more plantation in those days, and decide that, in those states where I come from, for example, there are agric estates. If those agric estates, and most of them are in the border of Ondo State and 6 different states that borders Ondo State. If government were to reactivate those agricultural estates, expand the landmass, and build mass housing with wood, good roads, city center, cinema, food courts, banks, put Wi-Fi, and then glamorize agriculture, a public campaign, and ask our youth, in the agriculture estate 1, we want cocoa. In B, we want cassava, and so on and so forth. We will give you an hectare of land at no cost. If you cultivate a cassava, we'll pay 1.52 million for every harvest. So the guy knows that one is going to an estate where there's housing, where there's broadband, where there's the basic facilities of life for comfort. Now, he's going to have a land that he doesn't have to pay for. And within that land, the agricultural support support system, and government says, once you cultivate 1 hectare of corn, you harvest it, we'll pay you 1.5 million. 50% of our youth and unemployed will move to agricultural estates. And government, the one with cocoa, the same thing. Government picks the harvest, and in partnership with processing companies, these are processed for local consumption and export. That is not rocket science. It's a deliberate decision. And that's why we said that it is not about emotion. It's about a plan, structure. The private sector in Nigeria has done extremely very well. Our financial institutions are some banks, some Nigerian banks are central banks of African governments. Why can't we lean on their capacity in dimensioning and making these things happen? I've said it before, I'm a politician as well. Politicians don't have answers to the problem. Not all the answers. They must bring in those who have the answers. Even the capital, our budgets are not enough. Everything I've asked to be done in terms of capital development cannot even be done by government alone. But private capital can help. So I think Mr. President is in the right track, is on the right track. What is next is to allow compassion for the people to be as the basis of all policy in every ministry, in every project, every dollar spent. How is this going to impact
the people,
on the comfort of Nigerians? Because Nigerians are losing it. I mean, you see very intelligent people that have earned, that Nigeria has trained, they've earned. They demarket Nigerians. Diaspora demarket Nigeria. Investors that want to come in, that go and talk to them about, they tell them don't even go. So there's a need for a total re-engineering of governance, particularly with respect to, first of all, deal with the issues of human capital development. Let people buy in, let them feel it. Look, I told you, you go to these countries, everybody is orderly, isn't it? Respect for the rule of law. They don't mess up because they have been, the basic things have been dealt with. Corruption will come down to almost 80% reduction. If people know that when I will have a house that I can live once I get a job. I went to China as a member of the federal government delegation, ETF, and we visited a town where they had just built almost about 2,000 apartments. And I said, who are these for? For the graduating students from China University in that particular year. So the guy knows that as he's leaving school, a key to a flat is being given to him. Abba. Is that too difficult? If we cannot afford concrete, we can afford wood. So these are the realities of our situation.
Does this start from the federal government? Because I'm looking at who to
That's federal government. Federal government is the leader. It's the one that gives the state money every month. It's like headquarters. These are branches. What the headquarters has a policy, everybody will buy into it. If I give you money and I say, look, even though you own the money, but please, I want everything you spend the money on to have a section that shows me how it has impacted your people positively. And we can measure it. So, yes, I mean, like I said, you sit down and speak to Nigerian youth, it's as if Nigeria is dead. It's not dead. We're not dead. We're a great country. By 2050, we'll be the third largest nation in the world after China and India, 500 million people. By 2075, Goldman Sachs will be the fifth largest economy in the world. But if the government does not quickly deal with the issues of social welfareism in providing the basis for our people, then we may not have a country to celebrate in the next 10 years.
All right, okay. Before we allow you go, or you still have one more question?
I know, I'm
okay, before we allow you go this morning, Prince Dapo Adelegon, I'm sure some Nigerians are watching us right now. They have lost hope in this country. They do not believe in the leadership, and of course, their tomorrow is not assured. So what do you have to say to them? And where do you think we are going to be as a nation in the next 10 years if we continue in this direction?
Okay. God forbid we continue in this direction.
No, with what Ashwaju is doing.
No, okay, okay, of course. Well, what I would tell, there are various publics in Nigeria, members of my generation, our parents, as well as our younger brothers and sisters coming up, across the length of the country. We all have the same issue, is that don't be afraid. Nigeria is a great country. It's going to be a great country. Every country goes through its own issues. I mean, somebody said recently that we're always talking about the fact that because somebody came, one Lord Duga came and joined us together, that's why we have problem. That Germany was about 6 empires. They were at war with one another for 600 years before somebody came and made them one country. Even East and West Germany that broke, yes, they became back again. The United Kingdom is an amalgamation of confederates. Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, each has its own football team and a flag, but they all sit in parliament in London. America has over 250 ethnic groups. Virtually every ethnic in the world is in America. They're still together. So in reality, what glues people together is the common food, common good. If everybody has food, or at least can get a job, or at least can get the basic, even if you have a job, there's support. Okay, there's housing, there's comfort. That is what Europe and America has used to bind their people together, social welfareism. So I believe that the country is going well. However, let compassion from now on become the base of all policy formulation and exertion. And Nigeria will be great.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chief Dapo.
No, I'm not Chief, I'm Prince.
Prince Dapo Adelegon, former President, Nigerian British Chamber of Commerce. He also told us he's a politician. This is understandable.
I am.
Yes. So I want to say thank you very much for joining us today on Nigeria's birthday.
Thank you.
Thank you for your words. And I think I love the part where you talked about the human element in virtually every decision we take as a country. We'll take another short break. The program isn't over. It's still the Independence Day special. Do stay with us. We'll be right back.
On security, we are